Hey guys, I'm Grestar, and how about we react to RWBY Volume 2, Chapter 1, Best Day Ever. As with my other RWBY reactions, this video will only include me. If you would like to watch the actual RWBY episode along with me, go ahead and click here to go to their video on Rooster Teeth's YouTube channel under their RWBY playlist. This is the video that I will be using, so for proper synchronization, you should click this one. But I will have a timestamp going in this corner, and hopefully we can match it up, and it'll be great. So yes, this is the beginning of Volume 2 of RWBY. Last time, obviously enough, I finished Volume 1, and some stuff happened. Like, we learned that Blake was a Faunus, and not just a Faunus, but actually at one point part of the White Fang, and so that was pretty cool. But basically she left when they started, instead of doing peaceful protests, started actually using violence and, means of, scare tactics and stuff like that, because, Blake didn't agree with that. But she totally thinks that, not all the White Fang is bad, that certainly not all Faunus are bad, and I really like Blake a lot more for these revelations. I think it's really cool that she's a Faunus and has this kind of troubled backstory, and I just really like her as a character so far. Her fighting style was really cool too, using all the ninja dodging stuff and everything. I heard that it was like creating a clone and leaping out of it or something like that. And the fact that she has her sword but also fights with a sheath, which apparently is bladed, which seems kind of dangerous. I don't know. I don't think I would really want my sheath to also be sharp so that if I touched it, it would cut me. But it's something like that. I don't know. And people clarified that aura is kind of like mana, like your mana pool, where it's kind of the energy or whatever, I don't know. But then the semblance is like the more specialized thing, so everyone has a unique sort of semblance, so I was basically right about that. On top of that, we learned that Roman actually has the boss, which is Fire Lady, which I think her name is Cinder, and he's working with the White Fang, and Blake obviously isn't too happy about that, and stuff could get bad. But yeah, so Roman and the White Fang dudes are stealing as much dust as they can for whatever they have in mind, whatever dark nefarious scheme, and Penny was an interesting character. She, I don't know, she kind of struck me as almost like an android sort of dealy, because like, I think watching it again, like the swords came out of her backpack and not just her back, but I still don't understand exactly what her semblance is. Like, but the swords all had strings attached to them, and she was really strong in being able to pull down a whole carrier kind of deal, and then she was just taken away by someone. So she could have a quirky personality just because she's this kind of rich girl who was always like kind of hidden away from the rest of society, or she could be quirky because she is an experiment of sorts, like a creation. I don't know at this point. Like, I don't think we have enough information to actually say anything for sure about Penny. Sun, though, I do like him so far. He's the monkey boy. I did really like his fighting style, his, up close, not quite hand-to-hand combat, but he had a quarter staff or bow staff or whatever, and then they turned into nunchucks, and then they turned into shotguns or something. Like, it was so weird, but he was still cool. Like, I'm really glad that he was there to support Blake when she needed it, because she didn't think that she could rely on her friends, the RWBY team, in that moment. And so I was glad that he was there for her, to offer that sort of understanding shoulder and everything, and then to help her, of course, during the fight. That was really nice. And yeah, after that, the RWBY team got back together. We still haven't seen really anything about the Vital Festival, so that might be happening in Best Day Ever, considering, a festival might be the best day ever, who knows? But yes, I believe that sums up the last episode fairly well enough. And now something that I want to touch on too before we actually begin to watch this episode is that I saw the RWBY trailers, black, yellow, red, white, those ones, back when they first came out, back when there were only the trailers in existence. So I did watch them all, but yes, it has been that long since I've seen them. The only one I've seen since then is Yang's trailer, and that's because I watched it in preparation for the Yang vs. Tifa death battle. The other ones I just have not watched yet, and I'm aware that they are part of the canon story. No, I will argue that they're not mandatory, and if they were mandatory, I would say that that would be a large flaw. You should not have to watch the trailers of something in order to understand what's going on in the story. Like, if I didn't understand Volume 2 because I haven't seen the trailers in forever, I would say that that's a flaw of RWBY. So, people in the comments, stop talking about that. Like, stop it. It's not that big a deal. You're seriously exaggerating, and it's annoying. But y'all have to consider, too, I'm taking the time to put out, I'm trying to put out 2 RWBY reactions every day, on top of being a full-time college student, and on top of putting out my normal video game, videos. So, that's a lot. So give me a break, please. Thank you. But yes, with that said, it's time for Best Day Ever, so let's get to watching. Alright guys, so I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, play, and when I say play, you hit play, alright? Yeah, simple enough. So, 3, 2, 1, play. Rooster Teeth, comedy, game, and community. There we go. And there we go. We're starting off with an actual scene. Oh, I guess like Chapter 1 of Volume 1, they had in a whole episode, and then the intro was at the end. I wonder if they're going to do that again. Newly reopened from dusk till dawn. Hey, this is where we first saw Ruby, right? She's the person that was with Cinder! The fire lady, if that was her name. So she's not a good lady, exactly. Oh. What was that? I mean, she didn't just, like, waste money, did she? I don't know what she threw out. Emerald? Was that it? But it's supposed to be the best day ever! Come on, guys, get with the program. Oh, this place looks busy. Every book? I highly doubt that. I know that book specifically. Whoa. He's closing those books very hard. Oh. Well, did you expect it to be... Do you know how many books are written? Y'all are being very literal. I don't know how he's doing the lights thing. Okay, so some faunus do just have claws. And hair. Oh, that fight was lame. We got one swipe and one kick. Well, alright. So they wanted the Third Crusade. Interesting. Keep your notes in a hardback? Fair enough. Oh. Huh. Okay. Did you see that? Yeah. You weren't ready that time, were you? Hmm. Great. She took like 67 minutes, right? Because that's impressive for 67 minutes. Sorry, what was that, Weiss? I feel like a food fight's starting here. Oh, but nope, we're just gonna move on. Hmm. A super secret. Mm-hmm. Looks like there still could be a food fight, actually. When is he not cool? Oh, wow. What kind of food fight is that? So it's just between Juniper and Ruby? I have to wonder at this point if there's going to be, like, any teacher retribution for this, you know? See? Guys, this is very weird. I mean, as weird as this is, it is cool. It's just so odd. That's a lot more lethal, having like an actual metal pull. But I guess there's also a swordfish, so... Oh! That's... She's pretty durable to actually break a pillar like that. Ow. How is that watermelon not dead yet? Like, from how many times it was slammed against the ground, you'd think that it would have exploded. Yay, polarity! She really has good control over that, though, dang. Oh. They're somewhere in all that, aren't they? Or did they fall? Oh, there they are. Yep. How did Sun escape all of the... Okay, there is going to be teacher payback. Yep. When you can do that, how can you even be upset? That teacher's power is ridiculous, at least as far as cleaning goes. I wonder if he ever actually uses his glasses. They're very tiny. Oh. Hmm. That's why I asked. Hello again. Cinder, yeah. Cool. uh, That's true. He doesn't even know? Hmm. What's next then? Yeah. Oh snap, guys, phase 2 in volume 2. How fitting. Fair enough. So now we see the intro, right? Hmm. Oh, it's cool to see more fighting. I just wonder how much of this will actually be, you know? RWBY! Now do we get closing credits, or is it just gonna end the episode? Rooster Teeth! And... yeah. Hey, they even have, like, these annotations! Yeah! That they do, guys, that they do. Alright, well, that was the end of that episode, so let me check really quick. Where is the video? Okay, this episode was 14 minutes and 59 seconds long, so now it's time to talk about it. Well, I did enjoy this episode. To talk really quick before I forget about the new intro, I feel like the very beginning of the intro could have used some work. Like, the music didn't seem to match up with the lyrics to me, like, as far as the tempo, the beat of it. I don't know exactly what, because I'm not like a music person, but it didn't sound right to me. It could just be because it's my first exposure or something, but yeah, it got better after that like little intro to the music bit, but before then, yeah, the lyrics didn't match up with the music in my opinion, so I felt that was kind of weird, and more time should have been spent on that, but I could come to like it more just as I hear it more. It's just the first time it sounded awkward. So now to talk about the actual episode, most of it involves the food fight in my opinion, because you know, I guess at the very beginning they had, you know, Emerald, I believe that's her name, and Quicksilver robbing the bookstore, or doing something to the bookstore. I don't even know what exactly they were doing. They said they were cleaning up, but I don't know what their intention was exactly, unless it was just the fact that the owner was a faunus. I don't know, but you know, like, because I don't understand why exactly they were there. Well, I don't understand why exactly they were there. Like, why would they focus so much on, like, beating him up over the fact that he didn't have every book under the sun? Like, I don't think that's the real reason they were there. I think they were after specifically, you know, that book, the third, what was it? Something third book, you know? But I don't know why they would need that, unless it was just part of the plan that Cinder is not telling Roman yet. I don't know. So that part was kind of weird to me. I guess it was more just an introduction of Emerald and Quicksilver as characters. Or I could have just very well missed the part that was, like, plotty of that bit, but I don't know. So about the food fight, I thought it was fun. I thought it was very weird, but I definitely thought that it was fun. It really got to show off a lot more of the characters', you know, strength, durability. We got to see some of their semblances used, and just their, what's the word for it? Well, their improvisation, I suppose, because they didn't obviously have their weapons, and so they had to use what was available to them, so them fighting with, like, baguettes or, you know, a pole with a watermelon, which I thought was a little cheap, using a pole like that. That could be very painful, and also the fact that the watermelon didn't burst until it had to, I suppose. Like, slamming it against the floor, I'm pretty sure it would have burst like that. Anyway, but seeing that stuff, it was cool. I wonder how much of it, if any of it, was for comedic effect, instead of actually showing their durability, because, like, you know, Weiss was slammed into the pillar so hard that it shattered, broke, collapsed, but I'm pretty sure Weiss is still okay, you know? So it's like, she was able to take that. That's a big thing. So yeah, I don't know how much of that is exaggeration, if any of it, and if not, then these characters are indeed very durable, which is, you know, props to them. That's impressive. But yeah, I don't know. I just enjoyed seeing the fight, I suppose. And the context of it too was just kind of amusing, how seriously they seemed to take it when it was in such like a frivolous, innocent kind of setting and using food to fight for the most part. Like, that was a serious food fight, you know, not the kind of stuff that we would have at school. And then the fact that Sun was just there enjoying it the entire time, whereas his cool friend apparently did not. The teacher, again, is pretty darn powerful, at least as far as cleaning things up goes, but I'm pretty sure that it extends to some kind of telekinesis, but I don't know exactly what, because she was the one that we saw in Volume 1, Chapter 1, right? Helping RWBY fight Cinder, and she had a lot of powers at her disposal, it seemed, because there was, like, storm stuff, and then there was just, like, matter manipulation stuff, and so I don't know exactly to what extent her resemblance is, like, how far it can go, or how it's limited. I have no idea yet. But it was cool to see her again and know that she apparently could do that much, and that makes me wonder how much the Headmaster can do, or what even the Headmaster can do, because I don't think we've ever seen him use any sort of his semblance, so, or a weapon even for that matter. I don't know, but yeah, I think what I'm missing the most though, and this could be coming up, I could be misunderstanding, but like, we didn't actually get to see the Vital Festival, and I was curious to see that. I want to see how they have their little cultural celebrations, and I wanted to see the tournament because they were all planning to take part in it, and so if we just get to skip over that, like, why? You know, that would have been cool fighting. It could have easily led up to something, you know, plot related or character growth wise, or, you know, if there was like a prize or something, you know, whether they win or lose though, there's got to be some sort of development in there, right? So I kind of want to see that. I want to see them working together, or even just fighting solo. But so if it's going to come up in a future episode, that's great. I guess I'm just like misinterpreting the dates that the show is currently presenting, you know, between Volume 1 and 2. And if not, if they're not going to show it again, then I feel like that's a bummer. Because, you know, I was looking forward to Vital Festival, and especially the tournament, so that kind of sucks. But yes, now the bad guys, they have all the dust that they need, you know, with Roman, the White Fang, Cinder, Emerald, and Quicksilver. Apparently they have all the dust they need. They're moving on to Phase 2. Who knows exactly what that means, but they were given different coordinates, and, well, I mean, I don't know where those coordinates could lead, but Cinder does, so I guess it's just a matter of waiting and seeing. Like, are they gonna go hit up other stuff, get more equipment of a different kind, or are they gonna go straight up and start an assault? I feel like Phase 2 is more gathering information or equipment or something, you know? Resources, rather. Because, well, I don't know, Phase 2 doesn't seem like final phase to me. It seems like there's a distinction there, and I don't think that any big attacks are gonna happen until, like, the final phase, like what everything's leading up to. But I don't know what it could be leading up to at this point, unless it is to attack, like, Beacon or some other sort of military training academy. Because, you know, if they're gonna be the bad guys, maybe they are trying to get rid of the competition, you know, the people who would stop them otherwise. It's hard to say. But they definitely have something in the works here, and I don't know, it could just be about economic revolution, you know, if you steal all the dust, then what's available, you know, that's what's left over is going to be super expensive, and then, you know, if you control the market, you control a lot, but I don't think it's going to go in that direction. I think it'd be kind of cool, actually, to have these, you know, world villains to actually be able to pull off something like that, because that is a surprising amount of power that a lot of people don't think about, instead of just being like, "Whoa, I'm evil and I have dominion over you as a person," but, like, actually controlling the economic market is substantial. Like, that's a big thing. So, I don't know. But yes, I did enjoy this episode. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments below. Remember not to leave spoilers. You can talk about this episode and everything in Volume 1. Basically everything I've gone over before. But do not talk about the future or I will be upset with you. So yes, let me know. Be nice. And with that, we're calling it here. Cue outro. Go!